do some freestyling on some things. A lot to get through. A lot of news events, certain things that going through the wire and everything. Oh boy, it's always something around, but I was pretty stacked on my videos today. I covered a lot of range of different events. Um, so NFL news is interesting. Looking to see what happens with Mr. Fields. Um, but anyway, here I am right now. So I'll see if anybody comes through. Still trying to find this thing about. I just got through peeping on some stuff with the "So Through the '90s" thing is so hilarious though. Um, it's always something going on though. Always something. You sit up there just trying to like take what you're hearing and you just got to try to put it into perspective. So, but anyway, yeah, here we are live. Gonna see what's going on. Um, to see what's up. Reading things right now. Just reading things right now too. Interesting. Yeah, just reading about Kate Middleton stepping down from her duties in England. That's interesting. Because that's been big news. What's going on over there? Um, so just reading all this stuff. It makes for some interesting reading. Let's just say that. But anyway, right here, right now, just reading this stuff right now. See if anybody comes through. See what we got real quick. I don't know if I should do a video about. I might do one about that. Stuff been crazy out of it though. Let's see. Oh, Don Lemon got kicked to the curb. Okay. Let me read that one real quick. Sometimes you just be like, got some news. Let's see what that says. Bad interview. Okay. Wow. Okay. Just reading that real quick. That's interesting. Okay, I got a story about that. I got some stories. Just waiting on some long hand right now. See if somebody come up. I'm just gonna be on here. If I don't see nobody, then I'm gonna call it a night. You know. Wow, this is interesting. Gotta write this one real quick. Wow. Wow, that's interesting. And see that one coming, but anyway, that's an interesting story. Sometimes you just gotta look into the story for your duties. Okay, just reading stuff right now. Well, so far pretty quiet so far on the front here. Don't know if anybody's gonna come through. We're gonna see what we're working with before I start talking about to see if anybody's gonna talk. I see a like and a view, but I don't see nobody coming through. What's happening? What's happening? ETJ, what's up? How you living? What's going on? Glad somebody came through tonight. It's pretty quiet so far. What's happening with you? Just waiting to see if anybody got any comments or anything. And all right, that's cool. What you up to? Everything all good? See what we talking about tonight. What's up? What's up? Just listening. Hmm. Feel free to whatever's on your mind. I'm just waiting for conversation to kick in. That's all. Family dialing. Okay. Hmm. That's crazy. See what's going on. Waiting for someone to come through to talk. What we got? What we got? What we got? So feel free to chime in. I wonder if anybody got anything they want to talk about tonight. Any events? Used to the crew coming through right about now and just seeing what's up. I don't hear nobody coming through. Just taking care of some business real quick randomly until people come in here and want to post some comments about something. There's a lot to talk about. The monitors are showing me that someone's here, but I'm not seeing a lot of comments though. So that's what I'm waiting on. Yeah, I know we got more than just. I see faces and names. I've just not seen nobody comment. That's all. Waiting on people to come and say something. The heck was this? Hmm. So I'm not seeing anybody posting nothing. I'm still kind of dumbfounded. Everything then kind of froze with Eat the Jackson. So wait on someone to come through. We're waiting and we're waiting. Hmm. Trying to see if someone's gonna talk. What's happening? How you doing? Glad someone's here. How you doing? What's on your mind tonight and where you coming from? Let's talk. I'm just waiting for people to come and state their case. I'm here. I'm sure we got good feedback. So if you got something to say and you want to talk about something, let's talk about it. Feel free. I just did a random bunch of videos today. Touched on a wide range of topics today. Talked about steroids in sports, talking about TikTok. So looking to see what people want to talk about. Usually I have a certain cast come through. So far it's none right now. But we will see what goes on. I know sometimes things go kind of slow. I see more faces through, I'm just not getting many questions coming my way. That's what I'm waiting on. We get this coming through. We're waiting on. How you doing, Miss Parker? Oh, well, it depends on what you like to talk about. We can talk about what you like talking about: music, politics, sports, movies, history, culture, racial. Um, I'm gonna be respectful, keep it classy. I don't, whatever you're interested in talking about. I don't know, because it could be anything. You can talk about Puff if you want to. Um, talk about Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Donald Trump. I mean, there's a wide range of topics. Um, educational topics. So when I do my videos and they're kind of like a supplement and overview, I cover a wide range of topics. I just got through talking. I just did a video about the TikTok that Congress is trying to ban it. That will not work. And I'll talk about the impact of social media. And TikTok is one of the biggest brands going. So whatever you want to talk about, feel free. Human relations, you know, um, spiritual relations, whatever you feel like talking about. That's how I would describe it. And where are you coming from, Miss Parker? If you don't mind me asking. I like it people come randomly and I like the interaction. I'm just looking for it. I talk about a wide range of topics. Like I said, entertainment mainly because generally speaking, you can't offend too much. We can talk about your favorite albums, music, songs, singers. If you're into movies, if you're into, there's a lot of topics. You just tell me what, you know, is comfortable and it's not, you know, so we can go from there. But we have to see what kind of questions we get. I got to see what comes up though, first of all, because I ain't seeing nothing right now. So, hmm. The interesting thing is that sometimes people ask me stuff and then they just go blank, and so I just kind of don't understand. Because if we were to get into conversations, I would have no problem. I just need people to follow through. That's all. I welcome it, and I wonder where people are from, and you know, but let's see what we got. I need some feedback where people talk. Because if I don't get anybody asking any questions or nothing, then I just think it's just standing and it's stagnant. So It's getting kind of quiet. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna give it about another 10 minutes or so. If I don't see any questions, I'm gonna get up out of here because I need some questions to, you know, to keep things going. I just don't like dead air time. And yeah, enjoy your smoke if I'm back on because I'm not gonna be on long. If I'm not seeing any, conversation, I'm not gonna, you know, I don't want to waste nobody's time and I want, so. But I do appreciate when people come through. It just ain't really buzzing, ain't popping off yet. So happens like this sometimes, you know. I don't be caught talking to myself though. Mhm. Yeah. Let's see what we got real quick. What's up? What's up? Are you gonna be here? Cause I need someone to talk to. I got some heads above, but no one ain't said nothing. I'm glad you came through. Cause okay, cool. Cause it was kind of creepy above. I mean, I had like three heads, and they just froze on me. They froze, and it's not trolling per se, but I don't know what you mean. And who are you? Okay, I'm off the camera. But if you're on, okay, I will. But I see the problem is that everybody's playing polite and nice. No one has said anything that's too offensive yet. Okay, I'm doing it. Okay. Thank you, Ted. Yeah, that was a big move. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, he must have fell out. Well, he's been underachieving there, so that's not too surprising. Their defense did underachieve. Khalil Mack and them. I mean, they haven't exactly lived up to their hype. I understand on the offense being sucky, but that's no excuse for the defense, if you know what I'm saying. Because the defense has been underachieving. But Tony Pollard going to Tennessee, I did a video about it. Yeah, but I don't think he's lived up to the hype, though. I think there's more going on at work there. And you didn't tell me about Tony Pollard going to Tennessee. I didn't know. Fan, I did my NFL video today. If you saw my NFL video, I did a roundup. Um, yeah, Bosa though. Hmm. He's becoming a never was though. It's interesting though that Harbaugh's unloading some folks though. Mm, interesting. And he might not feel he's got what he needs right now, so he just might just go underground. So I don't know. But feel free. Remember what I told you yesterday? Remember I told you Cowboy fans were like, we're gonna boycott this season. They let Tony Pollard go, so they might. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, technically, they really can't really make a move in a way because they're 12-5, and they really don't have. I saw that mess, and you know what that means in English, right? That means that when you have a meddling sibling or family member, chances are that guy's gonna get dealt out. Watch that gonna get hurt next year and miss about 10 weeks. Watch, be something freaky happen. It's a mess for him. You were right when you said he needs to get out of there because Dak feels like they're not doing nothing for him, and then they feel like he ain't doing enough to help the team. So it's a no-win situation on both sides. He is. He hates Mike McCarthy, and he's tired of Jerry Jones being a meddler, and they're not getting it done. And there is a problem for Dak, I believe, maybe on the running game, but I think there's something with the defense. There's somebody that's definitely getting a thorn in his side. Somebody is. So that's what's going on. You know, when cats start talking to the papers, you already know what that's about. So I think that's a great move. I think that that's a great move for Philly. I did the video. I said that for him playing with Jalen Hurts is a big move. I think Shaquan is the kind of back they need. Because all he's asking is to win, and he hasn't had that. I mean, come on now. What you think? I get to play with Jalen Hurts, or I get to play with Daniel Jones. What you think? I get to move into a penthouse if I left an outhouse. Then Atlanta might be a problem if that happens. It might be a problem. And he's young enough to go to Atlanta and play there for about 5 or so years. And I think what it's telling me is that Dallas ain't the end all be all for people to go to, and Frisco ain't the end all be all for people to go to. That's what it's telling me. So you asked me what I thought about the draft. And what I told you is I'm noticing a lot of quarterbacks, running backs, a lot of offensive moves, which is surprising, especially with the running backs because they've been almost obsolete, and quarterbacks too. So it's some interesting maneuvering that I'm seeing. Did you see what Tiki Barber said about Shaquan? Talking about he dead to me or some mess. He said, I'm like, shut up, Tiki. Oh, sell out simp. Dak need to tell his brother yeah, he is sold out. Sold his wife out too. Mm-hmm. You know. Tiki was good. Now I'm gonna give him his props. He was good, but he wasn't no Shaquan. And Shaquan didn't have Eli Manning. He's very shameful. I don't know what Tiki Barber would have done with Daniel Jones as his quarterback. I bet he'd have been shuffling out of town. Bet you that. He fumbled too much, and that was one of the problems they had with him. He was a good back though. Like he's good. Like could have been very good, really good. But he wasn't no Joe Morris though, you know. Yeah, I like Rondy. I remember Rondy. Shoot, I remember that interception against McNabb. Picked that thing up. That was a 14-point swing. I'll never forget that interception. That's when they went to the Super Bowl and they spanked the Raiders. I remember. But now we just always doing the Sherm because as great as Michael Bennett was, it wasn't that front push like that. Sherm covered a lot. He was big time. And his interception against Crabtree was just as important as Rondy's interception against McNabb. But I think that Sherm was kind of like the man for a moment. Rondy was a very great talent, but no one held him in that same kind of echelon. Sherm was. Oh, this is a good one. Ooh, the original against I gotta say Falk because he got more notoriety and he came up bigger. But if all things had been equal, I probably would have said Craig because Craig did it first. It's just that the 49ers offense with Bill Walsh was a different animal. And that's unfortunate because Roger Craig is like one of those guys that you had to been there to appreciate. And you see it 15, 20, 30, 40 years later, and it's the norm now. But when he did it, it was rare. And he was strong and all that. It's just that he didn't carry the kind of sway that Marshall did. Marshall got the better stats and everything. But Craig was somebody he paved that way. So that's a great question. I look at Roger Craig kind of like a Dennis Johnson in the NBA because it's one of those guys that doesn't get unsung, should get more. Ooh, this is a good one, but I gotta say Chris Carter for the touchdowns. And he had more impact, even though Hope got the ring and stuff. But Chris Carter was like he was like the 1A to whoever was the one. And he was really that great, you know. But it's close though, because Torrey Hope was bad. Him and Isaac Brook, they were bad. Bad boy. But I gotta give it to Chris Carter. Just a pinch. It's close though. That's a great question. You bringing the fire tonight though. You bringing the fire with that one. Yeah, that was a good one. I'm going to say Muhammad. And Terry Glenn got dissed so bad by Bill Parcells. She was calling him she and all that. Glenn could run some routes, but most Muhammad was underrated. I think he was an underrated receiver. I think he came up big. I really do. I think that, with the last name, I think if it was any other place, he would have gotten more juice, especially playing with Carolina. But he was bad. He moved me. But Terry Glenn could hit them hitches and routes, but I like Musin more. But it's close though. So I know you saw him too raw with the whole thing with Malik Monk. What'd you think about that? If you didn't see it, some LeBron freak said that Malik Monk would have came along and replaced Jordan and won rings. I was like, Malik Monk couldn't even carry John Starks' Afro pick. That's a good one. I'm gonna go. Ooh, I'm gonna give it to Isaac Bruce because he was more dependable and they came up big. Rising was bad, but I think the lack of postseason is what's gonna work against him. What's a horrible take? Tell me. What's a horrible take? Tell me. What my take? Because I said that he wouldn't even be John Starks worthy. My take, because he's 11.6 average right now in a scoring league era, and Turo was talking about that, and that is the first person that came to mind was John Starks. He would be John. He would be he would he be even as better good as John Starks, let alone Michael Jordan. He's not that. He's on his third team. No, I'm saying that's who he would be more comparable to. He wouldn't be comparable to Michael Jordan. You gotta remember what Starks started off the bench in the pine. That's what I'm trying to say. But some turkey that's rolling with LeBron has got the audacity to say that he could win 6 rings with Scotty. And I said he ain't even John Starks. Because John Starks would have been considered third tier in the 90s. I love Starks a whole lot. Don't get it twisted, because I remember 30 years ago, uh, Pat Riley got tired of Patrick Ewing. They always trying to downplay everything that came before them. They select a vision about who's around, and they want to downplay everything to up everything he does. They do the same thing that Beyonce's fanboys do. Same thing. Same thing. When I talk about LeBron, I talk about Beyonce. It's the same exact thing. Her fan club says, "Oh, Whitney and Michael, oh, oh." And they say greatness and and she's doing great country music. She's doing all that. It's the same. That's why I said LeBron James, Beyonce, and Jay-Z are like triplets, because I've had to hear the same old crap about all three of them the same exact way. Three of the most annoying, overrated, jive turkey entertaining people I've ever encountered in my life. And their fans are just ridiculous with it. You know, you can't have a conversation with no LeBron James fan. You can't, not at all. Most of them you can't, because they want to act like he ain't got the same ring count as Steph Curry. And they want to act like he's had more impact than Curry. None, because they just trying to be head coaches. They sit there and they actually do the work. I can't really say that I've had any problem with them per se, because they just trying to do their job. They have to be more animated. You know, if you ever see an assistant coach that's just folding their arms and laying back, he's either got some video on somebody, he gonna get fired, or he got another job lined up. Uh, that's not. She's not the protocol. I didn't do the video. I should. I'm gonna do that tomorrow about the Rachel Nicholas one. Thank you for reminding me. I'm gonna do that one tomorrow. Um, she's not the prototypical for your owner. She's a bit, uh, you can be affectionate, um, with your, to an extent, but then when you start to show favoritism, that's where it becomes a problem. You know, and the problem with this is that she's been passed around. We know she's 3 or 4. Now she had the nerve to come out and say that she got touched up by some owner, which she never said. But then she's got the audacity to be like all slumped on his shoulders. It's one thing she gave him a hug. She said, "Great job. I appreciate his work." But it looked, it's a bit, it can be a bit cringy, because you can't go to your job and have the female boss just all tucked on you like a puppy, you know, without somebody hating and them not calling corporate. None of them. It's all the same. It's not a good look. It's just like what you just got asking about Dak's brother. It ain't good on none of them. No. Well, I'll take that back. ODB's dad had that video where he showed Baker Mayfield overthrowing him, and then it got ODB out of there to the Rams and he won a ring. But that is not the norm. That's not the norm. 9 times out of 10, it's like what happened with Derrick Rose's situation, what happened with Michael Vick's situation. Usually, when families start talking about it from the screen, it's usually the end of your career, or you get traded to to a bad. You end up in a bad situation. So that's not a good look. What's happening? What's happening? How you doing? How you doing? Glad to see some more familiarity coming through because I had to deal with some people that weren't saying much. Good to have you. Good to have you. Let's get into it. What's on your mind? What's on your mind? James Lofton. Lofton. McCaffrey was a strong possession receiver, and I know you're going to throw the ring at me, but he wasn't James Lofton. We talking about whatever. We talking about different pet peeves and sports, and I'm covering a wide range. Ain't nobody asked me about that TikTok thing that the government's trying to shut down, but that's what's going on in the states. They trying to actually like they're gonna shut TikTok down. That's hilarious. That ain't gonna happen. But yeah, I'm taking James Lofton though. Lofton was dependable, and he was a prototypical receiver. McCaffrey was strong. I look, McCaffrey a bad dude, but now you ask me who was better out of him and his son. I'm gonna tell you Christian. I think his son's got him impact. Oh, Red Arbach. They do, but they won't be shut down though. Red Arbach to me, the Celtics runs are still the standard. You got that right. They're gonna protest the war. I think if they mess with TikTok, China's gonna put a real pandemic. They're gonna really shut them down. You ain't seen nothing yet. It'll be about a blaze and a half. It's gonna be a blaze and a half. Yeah, I put videos out over there, but I ain't. It's for fun. Yeah, but that don't last long. It don't last long. And I don't know why they're messing with it too, because TikTok right now is bigger. It's just bigger than any of the social media forms that are out there. I don't think nobody messes with Snapchat no more because TikTok's bigger. But stop me if I'm lying though. All of them. All of them. I'm gonna address that just a second. Great question, DP. Stafford, because he got the ring. That's basically what I will say. I know Matt Ryan got league MVP. I got to go because of the ring. And plus, Matt Ryan choked the Super Bowl. Stafford was consistent in the year they won it all. His stats will balance him out. They both second tier quarterbacks to me, though. But great question, T. But Stafford, because he got the ring. Sometimes the hardware is the difference. If certain guys I'm on the fence with, no problem. Yeah, I think all them drafts are rigged. I remember the 85 one very well with Patrick Ewing. To this day, the late Dave DeBuscher, I thought, great question, Ted. I'm going to give a slight edge to Von Miller because he came up big for two teams. And his reputation was making him look like he was almost entering Lawrence Taylorville. Not almost, I ain't say all the way, but his dominance, his dominance, because his dominance against New England was very noticeable. And I was talking about Wade Phillips and coordinators, and Brooks is right there, but that Von Miller had that dominance in the Super Bowl. Well, he really laid it on. That's what the Bills are hoping they get the half of that. If they got get a quarter of that dude, better because I'd say a better statistical back overall. They both came up big in postseason, big strong backs, and Marshawn got our moments. Now, Marshawn had to win that Super Bowl against New England like he's supposed to, and would have won. We're having a different argument. We're having a different argument. But I got to give it to Bettis. That's how big that Super Bowl was against New England. A lot of people's careers ain't the same because of that stupid call by the goal line. Marshawn, Russell, Sherman. I'm just saying. Pete Carroll's too. You can go down the line on Seattle. A lot of people's careers weren't the same after that botch call. Hmm. Just a slight edge to Campbell. I got to think he just a slight edge. It's close, but I got to give a slight edge to Campbell. I know you never think I pick anybody on the right side of the screen, but I got to give him a slight edge because Simmons was bad, but this is very close, very close. And all these are very close and great questions. You know, the Brooks one was great. It's just that I think that Damper had a better defense overall, but Vaughn just played out his mind. He had one of them. He was in the zone. Asante Samuel, man, that's not even close. Cause Jalen talked all Jalen Ramsey, yeah, he got a ring with the Rams and he's still high priced with Miami, but I ain't really felt him since he left Jacksonville, if you must know. To me, that was his best football. That's where he was making his made his own. Samuel was a bad dude. He was a bad dude. I might hold that interception that he didn't have in the Super Bowl against him when Eli threw that ball at him, and that's the one that got away. But he was a bad dude though. He definitely knew how to read routes though. So JR was only to me his best was in Jacksonville. He talked his best trash too. Um, I'm gonna go with Jason Taylor. I think he definitely just moved me just a little bit more. I like Jared Allen a lot, but I think Taylor came up pretty big with Miami. I think if they had a better offense and a situation, I think history would have made him even bigger than he was. So I got to give him just a nod there, but it's close though. I like Jared Taylor, and all these are pretty close too to me. Jason Tatum or current kid? Who? What you mean? What you mean by current kid? Oh, current KD. Oh, okay, KD. I didn't see. My fault. You can say KD. Come on now. Oh, but okay. But since we're gonna play the 2024 KD and Tatum, I'm taking the current KD. Have you not noticed what he's been doing lately? He's starting to. Me and Ted talk about all the time. He's been firing off on all cylinders. Um, I'm taking Randall. I'm gonna tell you why. Wolfolk was a bad boy. I know about the butt fumble and he helped out in the Super Bowl and everything. Nah, you ain't seen him lately. Ask Ted about what he been doing lately. He been throwing up 35 points a game. And he clutch. He's clutch. I don't trust Jason Tatum. Tatum got it going on for the now, but I don't trust Tatum. I still take KD over him right now. I know Tatum is more in his era. Yeah, thank you, Ted. Tell him. KD been on the KD must been listening to this cast or something because he been shooting 35 points. He been going off. It's just that they soft on defense. I don't trust Bradley Beal being consistent. I don't trust Devin Booker. And they really don't have a point guard. And they and Nurkic got to do more in the off the center position. But KD's balling right now. John Randall moved me because he had to do a lot in Minnesota. Woolfolk was bad, and he had what I call some big time plays. But Randall moved me a little bit more. But I got respect for Woolfolk though. It's not like it's a quick, you know, it ain't like it ain't just. But Randall, I say Woolfolk to his credit, he had these big plays that stay in your mind. He came with some big plays. Randall just had the, there's things that he did with his career. I guess your TV set must got like a half a screen because the man just got through telling you that he been balling. We ain't making this up. We ain't making this up. Now their record might not be as romanticized as Boston, but I ain't making it up. And I'm not talking about a career achievement either. KD's been on. He been bringing it. I like Bolden's size. I thought he was like almost like a Art Monk type, but I still gotta give Isaac Bruce the edge because I think he got the most out of what he had. I just do. Bolden was one of those guys that was a big size. Ooh. You coming after my childhood with this one. Do I speak on my honesty or do I speak on my preference? Mm, I ain't taking nobody over OJ, so just so you know. We're gonna before you go too fast. None of them nobody until we get to there's only a handful like less than a handful I would take with OJ, just so you know. OJ is almost off limits. Cause to do 14 games, 2,000 yards, and to be the best player in the NFL in the 70s when quarterbacks were more dominant, when defense was more dominant, to have the Steelers say he was the only man that they feared. No. I haven't seen another back out of these modern guys. I'll tell you, I'll give you a couple examples of guys who I might be a threat to OJ. But ain't none of them. It ain't I take LT over Marcus because he had better regular season, but that's because Marcus got white ball. If Marcus doesn't get jacked over by Al Davis, it's a different discussion. But LT got the regular season MVP. Marcus had a great start to his career with the Super Bowl and the dominance, but it got caught, it got ran off. But they both top 10 backs to me. AP is a great back, but it don't move me like OJ. No. OJ is like with Jim Brown. There's only a handful of people I put on that level. Kyrie overrated. If he don't do anything in Dallas, he'll definitely fall in that class because I think this is his last real go around with somebody. I don't think it'll get better than this. And he's playing with the hottest player going right now, Luca. So it's big. Reggie moved me more. Donald gets more hype, but Reggie moved me more. I think that Reggie was great in Philly and Green Bay. Brought a ring. Aaron's got a ring with the Rams. But I think that I got to give Reggie just a slight little edge. Looking at their primes to peak to each other, just a slight. But Aaron Donald's a bad boy, though. But I wouldn't say it's quite as Shannon Sharp blew his horn, though, to me. Reggie White was still on the other territory. Oh, this is the big redneck country gunslingers. Brett Favre. Even with one more ring, Brett Favre is more considered more of an all-time greater quarterback than Big Ben. I think a Big Ben had a 1-3 rings. He did get the 3 Super Bowls, and I do think he was the best quarterback in Steelers history. But I think he left a lot of stuff on the table. So did Brett Favre, but Favre just kind of moved me a bit more than Big Ben. And I don't always go by the rings. I do think Big Ben is one of those guys that will some way be underrated, but against higher tier quarterbacks or guys who have more success, I got to go with Favre. Oh. Two quarterbacks that I kind of felt were overrated as time went on. But I have to give the edge to Peyton Manning because as a regular season quarterback, that's one of the greatest I've ever seen. If we just was going by regular seasons, that guy would probably be about top 2 to 3 ever. Easily. No lower than 3. No lower than 3. He'd be in the top 2 to 3 regular. If we're just going by regular season. It's kind of like the Greg Maddox situation or Clayton Kershaw. There's certain guys that you see, or James Harden, They're like regular season studs, but then they get to the postseason, they're like duds. And then things change, the cheeks get tight, and they can't finish the same. But if we go by that's the problem with Peyton. Yeah, as a regular season quarterback, he's two at top three ever. If I compilate his whole body of work, he falls lower on my top 10 quarterbacks because his postseasons ain't that memorable to me. They really aren't. And he's not in the conversation with Mahomes, Brady, and Montana. He's not. So, and his postseasons aren't that memorable. Now his Super Bowls, they suck. But and he's got one more ring than Favre, but he's 2-2 in the Super Bowl. Ogden for me, because he was like a beast over there. Bruce Matthews was a bad boy, but Ogden was something else. I mean, he was like the best player on offense that didn't play for the Cowboys back then because he just dominated his position. I've asked so much I don't even know anymore. Yeah, Ogden left that. When I said that, to me, that's the ultimate compliment because when I put him with the Cowboys, when I say that, because they had so many great linemen, I thought this guy is the best one that I mean, that's how great he was. I understand why you feel that way about him. He's a bad boy. But Bruce Matthews wasn't nothing to sneeze at, but Ogden was he was terror. But DP, what you mean? I've asked so much I don't even know anymore. Please elaborate. Because the last thing that we talked about, oh, you asked me about Kyrie. Um, if he doesn't come out of this, okay, okay. Well, if he doesn't come out of this situation in Dallas on the right side, it'll definitely hurt his legacy. He's got to come up big with Kyrie. No, there's a lot of questions. A lot. We talk about a wide range. We talk about sports, music, movies. We talk about politics. We talk about, there's a lot of stuff that does never get asked. I'll talk about on here. So if you watch my videos, I cover a wide range. Like today, I covered TikTok. I cover politics. I cover racial. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. See, there's the topic right there. Appreciate that. Yeah, he came out and said that he won't shuffle. And I just came out and said that, with the whole thing with Rihanna, some people still holding it, but there's other things going on. But they still giving him money to make albums. He still got these video budgets. He still got a 20-year career. So thank you, thank you. I figured you'd appreciate that. I saw Two Raw doing with the one about Rodman and the band, and I thought I'd go one step further because I can talk about and recollect. And the thing about that video, why I went there, is because I thought about the Iverson with the tats, Magic. No matter where you come down, all the black superstars are protected. All been protected. Magic's Hive was protected. Isaiah was. Jordan was. Karl Malone was. You name it. Kobe was. Shaq was. They all were protected because the Negroes got to be a certain way. That's why they got treated as they did. Thank you. That's why I did that video. Magic. But if you never yeah, but they got everybody where they want them. I told you that Craig Hodges and Adu Raouf got kicked out the league, and Spencer Haywood was a problem. And that's why Dr. J, he got a well-groomed fro. See, you look at the imagery of guys. Check out that William Roden book about $40 million slaves. All that stuff ties in together. That's something that I went a little bit deeper with because not, they have to be a certain way. Because in the 70s, they thought the Knicks were too black. Stern comes along and says, I can make black folks accessible to these white folks and play basketball. So I try to cover a wide range. I cover a wide range. How Iverson was scary to an extent. Rodman was scary to an extent. Till you get to Kobe, you get to Shaq, till you get to Steph. So I might do another one. But Magic was a better passer than CP3. I think CP3 is what I call a ball handler who, top of the key, sets up his teammates really well. But Magic had more better court vision. Well, Muhammad Carlo, the 68 summer games, that's the ultimate. The fist in the air. I think that when Barry Bonds would stand there and watch his home runs, Jack Johnson's boxing matches. Jack Johnson's boxing matches are some of the most blackest moments you'll ever get because he did it over 100 years ago. Think about that at that time. I'm a history buff. Obviously, Bill Russell's winning was very defiant. Tiger Woods fist pump, black shirt, red pants. Think about it. Yeah, Cap. 90s Barkley was something to see. He was a great, great player. And, before he got all Hollywood fied, you know. No, not maybe a potato chip, maybe a potato chip, but no. He great score. Um, you know, can shoot, but he's a one trick pony. Damien is like Damien is one of those guys that he'd be like a broke Reggie Miller. I'd have more respect for Reggie Miller, who lacked the athleticism of Dame, than I do for Dame Lillard. Okay, I think he's almost embarrassing, if you must know. As time goes on, did you see the highlights from last night's game or the lowlights? Where did T. Higgins go? Yeah, I think Dame is becoming that because he can't play with Giannis. He can't play no defense. He ain't no assist man. He ain't no Drew Holiday. He's a weak link. And he is making Russell look a lot better. At least Russell, you can hate on Westbrook if you want, but he'll give you some stats. Dame got to shoot like 80 points and give you 5 assists and 2 steals. Oh, they happened last century. That's not even close. Uh, Will Purdue for Dennis Rodman. Back to Lakers. Well, I wonder where he will go. And that's a big boy too. He got good size to him, so I don't blame him. I don't blame him. And plus, he's starting to know that his time is ticking too. You start to see Mahomes going to 4 Super Bowls, got 3 rings, and time got away of him. It's a win-win. I think it's more of a win if he goes to KC, though, really, because he's not the kind of receiver that the Ravens need. They need more of a slinky one. Like if they could get Devontae Adams, that would be. They need that kind of Mike Evans style. They need that kind of receiver. Higgins' style will complement Mahomes. Of course, I wish the Bills would consider him, but they won't, though. Higgins a big boy. So He ain't going there. I thought your Justin Jefferson one was more accurate. I don't think Diggs would go to Atlanta because he's had a taste of success. Why would you go to a team that is not going to, be under? They're going to be a. Mm, I don't know if they can even squeeze a wild card. I don't think so. It happens. I mean, especially in the NBA, baseball too. Not so much in NFL, but it happens. It's common in the NBA. I've seen guys at the scores table told not to dress up. You're gone. Baseball, it happens. It's a cold blooded business. Yeah, I think now to answer one of the questions you asked me, they might be waiting for the draft. I think they're looking to get some size and some speed in the secondary. So I think they're one of the teams looking for the draft. You asked me what I think about the draft. I think a lot of teams are kind of, some teams are posturing themselves to see what kind of moves they can make. No, when you have owners, they can do what they want. That's all that is. That's all that comes down to is the owners doing what they want. Which MJ? Because you're talking about Jackson, Jordan, which MJ? When you say MJ, you gotta or Magic Johnson, you gotta tell me which MJ you talking about. Because those are the three MJs that come to mind. So which MJ are you talking about? They got y'all got good pieces. Y'all got good pieces. I think his coldness, his aloofness, his arrogance, because yes, he was the centerpiece of the Bulls, etc. And he does give Scotty his due. But I think that sometimes with him, you get this kind of aloofness that there were certain things that he rubs it in your face. He can be a bit much with that. It's one thing to be competitive, it's another thing when you come across like you're narcissist and you're just kind of, oblivious to other situation, which in part is one of the things that we kind of, you can say that, but the difference is Kobe had to go play with Shaq and he had an equally opponent head coach. Jordan's situation is completely different because Jordan never had to play with a guy like Shaquille O'Neal. And Phil Jackson, you can make the case Jordan made that situation unfold. Kobe come in a different situation. You gotta remember when Phil came to Lakers, he was a made man. He had 6 rings. And he knew how to coach up a superstar. He actually knew how to put people against a Shaq. Strahan because he won more. And with the sacks, I like Freeney a whole lot, but Strahan won more. It's a it kind of be like a popular guy. So if him and Isaiah Thomas were in the same backcourt together, oh yes. Oh yes. Because the Bulls had pieces, but I don't think that Scotty could have meshed up against Jordan on that way. And I know Isaiah Thomas would have had his way. I think he's bitter too long. I understand in part. I do love Zeke. I don't think he gets his due. He's still the greatest under 6'3" guard I've ever seen. I'll take him over Iverson. Only Curry can make an argument. Only one. Well, it was a different era. The Pistons actually could play defense, but it was a different era. They were allowed to be physical. If you watch my videos, I talk about the NBA commissioners. I talk about commissioners a whole lot, which a lot of people don't do because the commissioners are the ones that greenlight this with the owners. If they got a problem, they change it. That's why they got more Euro in the NBA today because that's what the powers that be want. Um, he would have probably maybe have had to adjust like Karl Malone did or Barkley. It's hard to say because depends on which team he's with, depends on which coach is, and a lot depends on how teams trap him. Jordan told Kobe in an All-Star game, just make him go to his left. He can't go to his left. Got a shot packed. He couldn't shoot outside threes for the longest time, except for the last 10 years. He wasn't even a notorious good outside shooter for threes. So playing in that era, he'd have to do a lot more posting, reposting, pass in and out. My biggest none. He cried, but he was a bad man. His greatness offsets his teardrops. I'm sorry. The greatest, softest player ever. I can't say anything bad about Tim Duncan. You're not going to get me to say it. He's one of my favorite players ever and underappreciated. I'm not going to diss Timmy D. Not going to happen. Yeah, I know you try to sneak that one up, but I'm not going to do it. But LeBron would have ran more in the 80s. The 90s would have been interesting because depends on who he plays with. They face guard him. They're going to definitely try to claw at him, make him put the ball on the ground and make him drive, you know. So that would have been interesting. He would have been a different player in the 80s and the 90s. He would have had to develop more of an outside shot. I think Karl Malone would have been his role model, to be honest with you, between Carl and Charles Barkley. And they're gonna definitely make you put that ball on the carpet. But he wouldn't have been the player that you see. Because Brad Daugherty would have been bad. If Brad Daugherty plays up to Brad Daugherty in price, he's probably 20, 25 points a night. But he's not statting everything though. So he came in an era where he can look greater. Wouldn't look so great in that era. Just saying. Because I don't think they would have gone for him, and again, teams didn't score a lot of points then, so he would have had to really, figured it out. They win a chip. He put you on skates. Victor, because you can't teach size. And I like Polio a lot. And he's a nice fit with Orlando. He's a bad boy, but you can't teach size. What Victor can do in a couple years, Ted hears me say this all the time because I talk about Jordan Love. Victor is going to be a postseason guy in a couple. Is it still frozen? Let me know. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah. Fox. Yeah. Fox. I'm glad you're coming around with the. Well, that's mainly when he plays against the Lakers. When he played, but they did ball out last night, though. I mean, uh, love Tiny, great player, but I gotta go with Gary because Gary had more years. He came up bigger, longer. That's the only reason. Ask me if they peaks. I'm taking Tiny. What he accomplished is still unfathomable, but Gary had the longer run. And Gary, the defense, the scoring, I got to give to Gary. But I do like Tiny a whole lot. But Gary's more closer to the top five, and he's not top five than Tiny is, though. Bosch. Kemp was more athletic and exciting to watch and everything like that, but um, Kemp's window wasn't as near as long, and he didn't have the kind of impact Bosch did. Only if the Rain Man could have lasted, but it just wasn't meant to be. So Bosch came a big, what he did in Miami, he was a sacrificial and he came a big, sacrifice a lot. Kemp could have done that, but he was pretty much a one trick pony though. I just told you I take Victor. You can't teach size. I don't know if you got the message. I like Polio a lot. I like the way he plays, but Victor, you can't teach size. And like I told you, like I said just recently, I said to Ted, Just like I said about Jordan Love in a couple years, I think Victor's gonna be something in a couple years. I think the Spurs are gonna be a handful to deal with once they get the right pieces around him. Oh, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah, I have to take Victor, but it's no bad wrong. Pio. It's just that sometimes when you got a guy that's got size and length, you know, Barry Bonds last season was incredible. Broke the record. Should have came in back. Um, I like the way Dwayne Wade went out. I like the way Reggie Miller went out. Um, John Elway went out the right way. See, to me, my favorites is when a guy goes out on top, or you wonder if he could still come back. I don't like it when guys look like they 3 steps short and they falling and rolling and they just look bad and miserable. It's not the way I want to remember it. That's good. That's good because I'm only gonna be here for a little while longer myself because I gotta eat dinner soon. But I'm glad you stopped through, DP. Yeah, looking forward to it. Glad you came by. Appreciate you. And good questions too. And always, there's plenty of questions. We talk about a lot of topics. If you watch my videos, you'll see I cover, like Ted told you, I talk about Chris Brown, talk about the NBA, football, politics, race, religion, uh, women. Within, we gonna be respectful, obviously, and just different things. There's no limits, you know. So if you want to talk about Billie Eilish, we can talk about Billie Eilish. I did a video why she's overrated. She got 2 Oscars for songs, and I thought that's hilarious. So yeah, well, yeah, I'll catch you. But Ted, yeah, that's a great question. He never could. He never could. Because the Kamala thing is all because of Obama. Obama got him trying to be as black as he can. But they got tired of CP3's behind. And it's just a token title anyway. Ain't gonna do nothing. I think Curry does has political aspirations though. I really do. But nah, they just happened to work good together. But it was strictly business. It was nothing else. Nobody likes Biden really. And his wife is annoying. Um, he isn't going to come out right and say anything that you want to hear, especially if you're black. I don't think I need to even go no further than that because he's not going to talk about reparations. He's going to find a way to kind of give you a generalized statement or police brutality. You're not going to get him to, he plays go along, get along, which kind of annoys. She just like your typical flowery white chick that was like a school teacher in the 70s or 80s type, you know, does seem like kind of like nonchalant to everything and oblivious to stuff. And yet she's watching stuff, but she doesn't articulate it. So sometimes, even though she's a so called intellectual, she just comes across dingy or selective. He's politician 101, you know, that he's a lying, racist, backwards white boy, but got a pass. He's the blueprint for Trump. Slick and smooth. The difference is that Clinton had appeal, but he was a blueprint for him. Clinton had all the slang like a rapper, had all kinds of cliches, all kinds of winks and nods. You know, like he was a baller rocking the 8-ball jacket. Pet peeves. I don't expect nothing but a third place finish. Prove me wrong that you're not an average team. Prove me wrong that Aaron Judge will be healthy. Prove me wrong that you can get some top tier pitching. Prove me wrong that Aaron Boone will actually win 95 games and that they will actually be more than just a first round casualty or just a runner up to runner wild card. That's my. I'm not expecting a lot because Baltimore and Tampa Bay are legit. I don't know about Toronto, but I mean we're in the basement with Boston. That's not good. Heck no. But he's fallen off. They went from not being able to beat Houston to not even being a wild card team. What am I supposed to do with that? So, you know, that's the reality of being a Yankee fan today. Ain't no Derek Jeter coming through that door. To quote Rick Pitino, ain't no Jeter coming through that door. Ain't no Rivera coming through that door. Nobody wants to come to the Yankees because Otani ain't stupid. He likes the West Coast. They got good interpreters over there, and they got a better squad. And it was a no-brainer to leave one part of the town to go to the other. The Dodgers is where it's at as far as they got them sexy picks. They got the stars. We don't have no um 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 Mookie Betts type. We don't. We don't. We're not attracting what we supposed to. That's the problem. We just trying to get these 3-run home run type of cats. We're not getting guys that can multitask. And that's the problem right there. You ask why I feel like I do. Because they don't have guys that create. Ain't no Ricky Henderson coming through that door. Ain't no Willie Randolph coming through that door. You know, you gotta have guys that know how to get on base. That's what made Jeter and them so dangerous. Chuck Nobbler guys could get on base, could create. Paul O'Neill could look like a nickel and dime you. Bernie could, we beat you different ways. They're trying to hope everything is like a big 3-run home run, and that's the problem. That's why they're such a half-hearted team. I don't really, you know what? Because I did a video about the NFL and steroids. They all suspect. So I can't say. I can't say. A good friend of mine used to think Michael Jordan was on him during the second three-peat because he talked about his body mass and how he looked the last three. So you know what? I can't tell you. People are gonna say, "Well, what about Bonds and stuff?" So Bonds was already a great player. He still stole bases. So if he's so juiced, how's he steal all them bases and still got a glove in the outfield? That ain't gonna make you do that. Most guys are only one dimensional when they on the rods. This guy was still fielding. He was still stealing bases. He was still walking. Hand-eye coordination. They ain't got no juice for that. It don't give you 20/20 vision all of a sudden. So I have none. None, because I think it's all suspect in all of them. He's a shuffler, you know, on the personal side. He talked up good on, I mean, he's an Oliver. He talked himself up good. He's a smart negotiator businessman. He's slick. Now he looks like us, and I wonder if he acts like us, but he's a slick businessman. Made people forget all about him on the juice. And see, you can't even really tell when he was on because they have done such a disguise of covering his behind. It's almost like it's irrelevant. So his cockiness can be kind of like he kind of downplays what he did with the you know, betting on baseball. And I think sometimes he can rub people the wrong way because he can be a bit heavy handed how he is. I mean, he was great. Don't get it twisted. And I hold him in high regard. But he can kind of throw you off though. He's got kind of a coldness. and his aura can be a bit off-putting. The redneck machine. I think he tries to intimidate, and I think that served him on the pitching mound, but it can kind of his aura can be kind of heavy-handed. Think so. I think he can kind of throw you off. Yeah, that's what being a bully was about. He was a bit much with it. He was a bit much with it. So I liked him when he's on my team, but he could be a problem. Um, Not much of a problem with Pedro. He spoke his mind. I tended to respect him. I didn't think he was shuffling or nothing, and I didn't think that he was doing anything. He defended himself, and he always kind of like prided himself on what he was doing. You know, think about this. Who else do you know gonna sling a white Porky Pig looking cat like Don Zimmer and not hating the repercussions because he had earned the respect because he thought the dude was trying to attack him. So you know, Pedro got respect. You know, so I got nothing. Those other guys is because I thought this smugness or arrogance, and that's the thing about Pete Rose because it's kind of like how he carried himself. Loved him as a player though. Joe Morgan, all time Joe Morgan, one of my favorite announcers, great player, class dude. He would come to mind. I used to like the way he would bat too, and he just came up big time. Johnny Bench. Far as catching style, my favorite catcher to watch catch was Tony Pena. He the first one that I saw go all the way down and sit there. Uh, Gary Carter was bad. Roy Campanella. Um, Respect Piazza's hitting. Piazza had a sweet stroke. The guy could flat out hit. Pudge Rodriguez. Yeah. Respect Thurman Munson, even though I didn't really like him person, but you know, it's all the main cats. Mm. Eddie Murray probably, and Willie Stargell. They come to mind. Respected Keith Hernandez, and they select Chris Chambliss. Don Mattingly, I liked a lot too. Like Steve Garvey as a kid, but his Ronald Reagan acting butt self. Kind of took first baseman for granted because not thinking a lot of them playing defense, but uh, well, my favorite as a kid was probably I love Steve Carlton Cy Young Awards. I think the '70s one, '72. because he won half the team's games. They stunk when he did that. Fernando Valenzuela 81, one of my favorites ever. And Fernando Mania was one of those end all be all things. It was amazing. Uh, gotta be Danny McClain winning 31 games. That's incredible. To do that is just, it's before my time. That's amazing. Yeah, his was. His was. Guidry's 25-3 and 78. You know, a lot of guys winning a ton of games now. That's just mind blowing. Yeah, Gooden was special back then. I can't begin to emphasize it enough. That's a woulda, coulda, shoulda right there. Should have been in the same conversation with Clemens too, because he was the follow through of Satchel Paige to Bob Gibson and Gerald Richards too. There's quite a few if I think about it. Just memories got to come back where certain guys come to mind, but you know, definitely Gooden in '85 and Oral Horshaw's in '88. I mean, those guys were bad. The Cy Young used to mean a lot more back then, though. And I got to go back in time. That's why I got to think because, a lot of these records are distorted. I think his season, I think when George Brett hit 390, I think Barry Bonds with 373. Those come to mind. And Gwen was on fire that year. All those guys I mentioned had incredible seasons because I remember when Brett was flirting with 400, and that was incredible at the time. That was like, wow. And Bonds with 370 something with all those walks. I mean, it was insane that he was a power hitter who was going batting titles. Think about it. Ichiro's batting title, 01. Just think about it. I mean, when you think about the diversity and versatility of it, but Tony Gwynn was something else, though. I mean, he was. We can't let him be forgotten. Willie Mays in the late '70s, Joe Montana with Kansas City, because what made it worse is how he got beat up and he just was, and Jordan with the Wizards was bad, Shaq with Boston was bad. Um, you think Emmett Smith with Arizona? I don't even talk about Patrick Ewing's last because the mess with Seattle, all that stuff was horrible. All of it. You know. You like to think of these greats in a winning situation, not where they look. Yeah, it's all depressing. All depressing. You know. Yeah. Um, Barkley with Houston was sad to watch too. Yeah. Yeah. Scottie Pippen at the end, it was bad to watch. Mm, trying to think. Yeah. Yeah, he was. I mean, he stopped at Miami. He got the ring. It was a wrap. Steve Nash with the Lakers was brutal to watch. You know. So yeah. But guys back then stopped at 34, 35. You know. But different today. Yeah, we don't even talk about that. That was like a nightmare. He's talking about he's chasing Jordan. I said, what Jordan are you chasing? Because first of all, you was too old when you went to Charlotte. And second of all, You was never gonna be that kind of dude. You didn't, score like that in flight. And third of all, had you probably gone somewhere like that 10, 15 years ago, I don't know if you win as many rings, but you stat pad, but no. 18 to 19 to 20. Because if you go with LeBron era, Kobe era, Kevin Garnett era, that was the norm. Jermaine O'Neal era, Amari Stoudemire era, 18-19. We go in the last 30 years. When I start about the Garnett onward with Kobe to Amari to LeBron. So that's how different it was. They missing that experience in college or some sideball, but I'm not mad at them because I say go get the bag. It's a different era with the NBA. Guys now are veterans at 30. Back in the day, a guy would be like 36, 37. So the 5, 6 years make a difference. Different era. So different era. Yeah, he's like he been playing for like 10 years and his postseason feels like 10. And I know I might come across a bit hard on him, but he been around 7+ years and they've been to one finals to show for it. And it's not like he can't say he ain't had experience. So I mean they didn't he got media hype. He gets calls. He's been on I don't know what he need. Yeah, he's an old 25 too. You better hope he don't get hurt. Yeah, they pups. But the problem is that they got miles already. And that means that it could be an injury or something that they haven't experienced. And they're not getting it done. So that's my knock against them. Lord knows Adam Silver in the NBA wants Boston in the finals with something awful. Believe that. The fix is on. And Tatum is the most important non-American NBA player, I kid you not, that they push in the agenda. That's what they keep trying to say. Because they want him to be some kind of MVP or something. I know. That's hard to believe too. Al been around forever though now. Well, he has. Because winning in Florida is 20 years ago. So almost 20. So yeah. But so that's the problem that they run into. Yeah. Could have been more though. Settle for being a spot outside shooter. I ain't never got over him with that one play I remember in the playoffs. He had a chance to go and flush it, and he passed it back out. Or the time he had Steph on his hip in the 2022 finals, barbecue chicken moment. And what he do? Fade out and get. And I'm like, you got Steph on your hip, but LeBron did too. Y'all making Steph look like he Isaiah, so making him look like he Dwayne Wade or Jordan or someone or Kobe or something. I mean, but that's how the game is now. Guys got lower men on them. Don't put that butt on them and then fade out. I'm like, you ain't Karl Malone. You ain't doing a, you gonna do a dirt kick? Because without that 3-point line, His game is just limited, and that's the problem with Al. So he almost retired after that finals too, but he ain't because you can shoot outside, you can play about 10 years. I wouldn't come back until like the last couple of weeks. I do it like sparingly to be on the safe side because he's very ginger, and you know I wouldn't. We're gonna see what happens with that though. He was headed towards another MVP though, but we'll see. But yeah, Al's got him secured him a job. Yeah, the problem with him is he's playing too much to the highlight reels. I hear when people come at me and look, I like the way he leaps in his motions, but he has to play smarter. Not harder, but smarter. You know, take outside shots, drive when you can, create your free throws, keep teams honest. He's trying to do too much. He wants to believe the hype. And he will in time. Oh, that block was sick though. Oh yeah, with the dunk, but that block was sick. Yeah. But see, that's the problem with him. He's trying too much to be, a lot of showman. He has to be able to keep his teammates involved. You know, he got to play an all around game. If he can do that, if he starts to get some of that Luca type, Jokic type, that's where he'll be more scarier. Sacrifice 5 or 6 less points and get more assistant rebounds, steals, and blocks. Yeah, and again, you trying to do that too much, you give yourself an injury. You gotta stay within your realm. Like I said before, add a little more around to his game. He's scary because he's got the size there, and we know Cat ain't gonna come inside. He can make Gobert look like a scary double double. Rudy could be an 18 and 18 man if Ant plays it right. Ant's got to play smart though. So I think he'll be more set next year. He ain't getting MVP this year, but next year, I think you'll see him come out with a blaze. I do. He remind me of a few people, but he has their rawness. He doesn't have their mental yet. He gets the mental part. Watch out, because then he can be a real threat. He should win it. They're balling. 25 games over 500. They're hitting on all cylinders. Best team in the NBA, best team in the West. And the scary part about him is he doesn't even look like he's going full drive. Yeah, Luka's balling, but they gotta again come postseason. That's where it's gonna matter with him. He can put up all the stats and do everything. They gotta come through and win, and they gotta come through in the postseason. That's what he's gonna be measured by now, because he's getting to a stage where you're not gonna quite get league MVP, but can you make a statement in the postseason? He can do that. Then we're talking. If we can't do that, they walking. So eyes got to be on the prize, though. If I'm Luca, I'm going for something else. Okay. So that's how I look at that. Yeah, but Kawhi got hurt. That could be the end of his season. So how you feel about that? I thought about you because I heard about that with Kawhi. That injury could be it. And I don't know if they can do anything without him. Excuse me for just a second because I got to put this plug in. You know, if they don't have him, it's going to be interesting with them, though. It's going to be interesting. He probably should. And it's such a shame, too, because I always like to debate his greatness, but he just can't stay healthy. It's a waste, too. It's a waste, too. Because that guy, oh, man, that dude got the tangibles that you want. But it's a shame. It's a shame. He may have just peaked out too soon. It's a shame. And he's a woulda, coulda. He's one of those guys that if you didn't get to see him when he played his defense and his all around game, he really was never, even though he won in Toronto, he never was the same after that cheap shot with Golden State, you know. It wasn't the same. So why you don't like Ty Lue? Ty's doing good. Udoka had a lot of baggage though. Why he shouldn't have. I'm gonna do a video about Udoka versus Jenny Buss. I'm gonna do that video. Thank you. You got me inspired. I'm gonna do that one. Because you gave me an inspiration with that one. Gotta find my thing. Ty Poo. I like Ty Lue though. I like Ty. I think he's doing a good job. It's just that the problem with them is that he's asked to babysit a lot of egos. You know, that's the problem. You got to babysit a lot of egos, and he's short on time because Paul George is older, Kawhi's older, Russell's older, Harden's older, so it's a lot to navigate. That's a fact, and it's like you got to win, and if you don't win, you suck. So I feel bad for him in that regard. So you know, so can't win them all. You know. But I don't know what Udoka would have done with them because they are veterans, and you gotta remember, everybody can't coach that ego too, so it's debatable. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna get ready. I gotta make a move to go eat. About my time. I don't know if I'm gonna come back or not because I don't want to miss this data. I think everything's straight. But I'm glad everybody came through. Appreciate all the questions. It got off to kind of slow start, but it picked up. I'm glad the cast came through, and it was definitely great to chop it up. And I will be back tomorrow. Stay safe, stay warm, stay blessed, stay whole, stay full. Appreciate everybody that came through. Appreciate all the questions and answers. And I will catch y'all another day. Had a great time as always. And I appreciate everybody for the support. And we're going to continue to make this a happening place. And bring your questions. And please don't freeze on me. If you got something to say, we should say it. We can make it happen. All right, I'm out. Peace.